Okay guys, heading to the shop, so I thought I might as well do a topic on the way, and I might call this one "Don't Ask Questions That You Know the Answers To." So I've seen a lot of videos from other people and also talking with foreigners here, and everybody sort of gets themselves in a bit of a pickle now and again, and a bit of the mystery of the cultural thing in Japan and the mixed messages, and people saying yes when they really mean no, and things like this. And I thought about it, and I like to sort of simplify things just to make it easier for you guys when you come over. And it all boils down to don't ask questions you know the answers to. So if you know you're going to ask somebody a question and you're sort of 90% sure that you know they're not going to agree with it, or whatever the case is, you're 90% sure that it's going to be a no, it's probably better not to ask the question, because you put people in a difficult situation, and sometimes they might say yes because they've been put on the spot, so to speak. But they really mean no, and this can cause confusion, because when a Japanese person says yes, it has a lot to do with reading the air. So a native Japanese person would know that the way a yes is said is really a no, instinctively, but it's not for a foreigner. So foreigners get mixed messages just because we're just not in tune with sort of the nuances of the language and the culture. So I sort of feel it's putting people on the spot. You're going to get any sort of answer. Maybe, sometimes, no, yes. You could get a myriad of answers, and they're never going to be consistent between people. So you may get someone that's a little bit more direct, and they sort of mean what they say, sort of they know where the foreigner's coming from, but most people don't, because they're not used to it, and they don't actually understand that you don't get the social clues, cues, or whatever the word is, within the conversation. And it's really difficult when Japanese is your second language or third or fourth language. It's quite difficult, so you're going to get frustrated, and this can cause issues with in friendships and things like this. So if you are going to ask a favor of somebody that you may feel is a difficult ask, a big favour to ask, so to speak, the way I approach it is tell them beforehand, you know, like, I know this is a really big thing to ask or whatever, and sort of prepare them for the question, and that you'd be fine if they said no or yes or whatever the case may be, and then you'll have more luck sort of not having any misunderstandings. But to put somebody on the spot about something can lead to a lot of misunderstandings, and you don't want misunderstandings, because when that happens, it just makes everybody awkward. So also just keep in mind, depending on what culture you're from, what could be considered a small favour could be considered a big favour here. What could be considered a big favour here might be considered a small favour where you're from. So this is all cultural. So like, for example, where I'm from in Australia, in Tasmania, asking somebody to borrow any sort of machinery, their car or whatever, their lawnmower or whatever, that's just not done. That's considered a big ask to ask someone if you can lend their car. The farmers out in Tasmania don't like to do that, but here that's perfectly fine. But something small in Tasmania might be considered big here. So just depending on the area where you are, just don't try and equate two things as the same, because culturally they're different. People value things differently. People value their time differently. Japanese are very generous with their time, helping people and stuff, but Australians aren't. Australians are quite selfish with their time, but not with their money sometimes. So it's all a cultural thing. So just wherever you are situated, wherever you come to Japan, just sort of work out what's sort of valuable, and then you get to know what's a big favour and what's not. And then when you ask questions or ask for a favour, you have less misunderstandings, because Japanese don't like to say no usually, and you could get mixed answers, and a lot of people do. So for those who haven't watched many of my videos, I sort of equate a lot of the Japanese culture to sort of how it was in the 50s, 60s in Australia, old sort of old-fashioned sort of culture. And I know when I was growing up, I always got told, if I wanted some ice cream or something at the footy, don't ask my mum, because she'd always say, you know what the answer is. So it's sort of how it is here. So if you sort of know that the answer is going to be a no, it's just better not to ask, really, the way I see it. And if you really do want to ask, just prepare them that what you're going to ask is going to be a big ask, so to speak. So it's not rocket science, but people make it out to be that it's some mysterious thing, but it's really just common sense, common courtesy, as are most things in Japan that you'll come across culturally. It's just like living in the 60s. So, yeah, pretty much the 60s. Be nice, speak nice, and think what you like. You don't have to give your opinions all the time about things. That's sort of how it used to be done back in the day. People didn't voice their opinions about every little thing. And it's how it is here. And nod, smile and wave, I suppose. That's all you can do. Keep the harmony, so to speak. It's not that difficult. So we had a bit of snow overnight. It's just starting to melt here, and I've got to bring the wood in. I've got the cafe tomorrow, so it's a little bit cold in the Doma, so I might preheat the oven tonight and get it a bit warmer. So anyway, just a quick topic on don't ask questions you know the answers to, or don't ask for favours you know the answers to. And as always, hope you like the video.
Let's go back home.